Alright, hey AP Chemistry. So in this video I'm going to be doing quick check number 3, which is a majority of the topics found in chapter 10 that you are required to know for chapter 10. Basically in chapter 10 it's all about drawing the structures, giving me the shape, and then giving me the hybridization. But to go back a bit, I do want to recall a bit about electron configuration so I could talk about bonds and orbitals. So if you remember, these are the different orbitals and sublevels that I could use for electron configuration, and energy goes up this way, okay? And if I have a block from the periodic table, and that's bromine, if its atomic number is 35, that means that there are 35 protons and 35 electrons. Right, in the neutral atom. For a neutral atom of bromine, there are 35 protons, 35 electrons, and I have to fill all 35 electrons into this electron configuration. So to kind of remind you, we do one up and then one down, right? And that's according to Hund's rule and the Aufbau Principle. Aufbau says you do lower energy levels or energy sublevels and then you go up higher, and Hun says you put them individually before you pair them. So I just use 2 up, down, that's 4. In the 2p I have these 3 orbitals, so 1 up, 1 up, 1 up, 1 down, 1 down, 1 down. So far in the 1s, 2s, and 2p I used 10 electrons. 6 in the 2p, 2 in the 2s, 2 in the 1s, and I have 25 more electrons left. Then for 3s, I do up, down, up, up, up for the 3p, then down, down, down. I just used another 8 electrons here for 3s and 3p. Right now, it's bringing my total up to 18, because I have the 10 that are down here, and then I have 8 here. And I have 17 more left for that 35. And so if you remember, 4s comes before the 3d. So I do 1 up, then 1 down. That's another 2. So that's 20 so far. Then in the d, I do 1 up, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 25. Then 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 electrons. I have 5 left. Okay, that 3D sublevel can fit up to 10 electrons and it is full, right? Then I have 5 electrons left. I'm going to go to the 4p, 1 up, 1 up, 1 up, and I have 2 left, 1 paired, 1 paired. Okay, and so I have a full orbital diagram here except all for 1 electron in the 4p, right? And if I were to write out the long form of this electron configuration using what I have here, it'd be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, and then 4p5, okay? And if I want to do the short form of the electron configuration, I am going to use argon. I'm going to ignore all of this because this is the electron configuration for argon. So it's going to be argon, then 4s2, 3d10, 4p5. Now what this means here is how many valence electrons bromine has. Remember, valence electrons are found in the outermost shell, highest energy level. So I'm going to circle the highest energy level, which is 4 here. All right, so I have 4s2 and 4p5. Okay, that means I have 7 valence electrons. That's how many electrons are in the valence shell. Okay, so what I do with that is, this is where all of the valence electrons are, and I use that to draw my Lewis structures. So it says bromine can make 5 bonds in molecules such as BRF5. Draw the Lewis dot structure for BRF5. So in me doing that, one of my first steps is I got to figure out all the valence electrons. Bromine has 7 electrons. Fluorine also has 7, and there's 5 of them. So 7 electrons times 5. In total, 35 and 7, that's 42 electrons. Common sense says that bromine is the central atom. If not, it is definitely the least electronegative element, so that's the one that goes in the center. I'll do Br, and I'll just start attaching the fluorines. So I have my 5 fluorines. And me doing that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 electrons were used. I have 32 electrons left. I got to give my non-central atoms an octet. 6 goes on each of the 5 fluorines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 30 electrons are used. I have 2 electrons left, and they go on the bromine central atom. Okay, now, my next up here is, it says determine the formal charge. Don't forget that formal charge is going to be equal to valence electrons minus bonds plus unbonded electrons. So if I want to do it for bromine, bromine has, like we said up here, 7 valence electrons minus, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonds and 2 unbonded electrons. This is going to be 7 minus 7, it's 0. And then you'll see that fluorine is the same business. This is for bromine. For fluorine, it's going to be 7 minus 1 bond plus 6 unbonded electrons. That's also going to be 0. And now, all in chapter 10, it talks about the shape and the hybridization. So it says, consider the central bromine atom in BRF5. What's the number of bonded atoms to bromine? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 bonded atoms. The number of lone pairs is 1. So its steric number is that thing that I talked about, things, which is from a previous handout. The things that I'm talking about are the number of electron dense areas. So that's something that I referenced in a previous video. So the steric number is the number of electron dense areas or things. That's 6. So now I have to look at what is the electron pair geometry. Using either your textbook with table 10.1 on page 436 or this handout, or if you got a copy of this or printed this out. If I have 6 things around the central atom, the electron pair geometry is octahedral. And that's what I have right here, octahedral. So it's at the bottom here too. Okay. What is the molecular geometry? Well, even though there are 6 things around the central atom and it's octahedral, there is 1 lone pair. And with 6 things around the central atom and 1 lone pair, we're going to call this square pyramidal. Okay? And then finally, I had this nice little table here, but we see that over here. If it's octahedral, it has 6 things around the central atom. The hybridization is going to be sp3d2. Octahedral, sp3d2. 6 things need 6 letters. That's kind of like my shortcut or my cheat. So it's sppdd. 3, 2, 1. That's 6 hybrid orbitals. Okay? So, that is our quick check number 3. All that we have here is everything that I really want you to take away and know from chapter 10. Do you know how to draw the Lewis structures and then give me the shape and then the hybridization? If so, then you have exceeded expectations of what you need to understand for chapter 10. If you have any other questions or concerns, let me know in this video or in the remind.